Yeah, I actually was there. I wasn't a major integral part of Junior Mafia like that because, Pac rolled with them heavy and Big Heavy. But, I was around a couple of times, and they were really close. I would say that it was an industry relationship that was growing into a more outside the industry relationship. But, obviously Pac was on different places. Big was just trying to get his thing up. So. And it was probably more like I would say, teacher-student, because Pac was very experienced. He was already considered, legendary at the time, and Big was just coming up. So, I wouldn't say that Pac sat there and gave him lessons. That's not what I'm saying. But, when you got a guy who's been in it, you kind of learn vicariously through that guy without actually being told you're being taught something. You kind of just take little things, apply it to what you're doing. If you ask some questions, Pac would answer questions, and and obviously Puff was a great teacher. So between Puff and Pac, Big had some great people to show him the ropes. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I would do the relationship. Like I said, I wasn't there like C's or D-Rock and them to know the more integral things, but that's kind of how I viewed it, and it was good, and it was good. Well, when the things went sour, we kind of, it was business as usual. I mean, they didn't really affect our bottom line. It wasn't like we were making records to impress them. I mean, it was just unfortunate. It was uncomfortable because now Big has something to have to deal with that's not progressive. That's not about getting money. It's negative. So, and it's hard to be creative and make money when you're doing that. You know what I'm saying? But it was business as usual. I mean, and we handled things when they came about. The Source Awards and various meetings with various people. You've seen all the different shows and things that happen. And I just think that, we went on with our business. We made hit records. They made their hit records. And, it is what it is. It's sad that it had to come to the deaths of both of them. God bless them and their families. I would never wish that upon nobody. Sad days in hip hop, but for Bad Boy, it was business as usual, as much I could say. Well, I mean, just based on the information that came out afterwards, I think that I don't know if Pac would have even been down with them guys on that side of town, based on the stories I heard. You know what I mean? As far as what was going on with them internally, and with us, I think we had the forgiving arms. We were ready to move on because we know we didn't do anything. We know that we weren't a part of anything that was meant to hurt anybody physically or do anything like that. If anything, we were going to continue to have was a musical competition, but that's as far as it was going to go. But yeah, I think if they were alive, I think maybe possibility you might have saw a reconciliation and maybe possibly even some collabos. But I'm not a fortune teller. It's sad, but I really do think that possibly that would have happened because some way or another, some OG or somebody would have got them in the room and say, hey fellas, listen man, y'all got to work this thing out. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much the rest of the people would have conformed and helped out, but I think at least for Big and Pac, I think it would have happened because they were both young and they both were, on their way to superstardom. You know what I'm saying? So there was no reason to have this negativity around for such a long period of time. So I believe somebody would have stepped in and tried to smooth it out.
I'm competing against not just who's hot right now, who's trendy right now. I'm competing against the whole canon of music. Like when I think about the greats like Big Daddy Kane and Rakim, they still in my top 10. Kendrick Lamar's creeping up into my top 10, but he only put out one official album and a couple mixtapes.
But Drake hit me up and was like, yo, I think people misconstrued in this tweet I just tweeted because he didn't hear about what I said about my release party. He was like, yo, you did rip that song. And he was like, yo, I think he said that line was from an intro on his album or something, so.